Hi, welcome, welcome. I am Kelly Pitts, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Lubbock, Texas, and I'm so glad you've joined me today. I have a blog called createwithkelly.com that's also my website where you can shop for any of the Stampin' Up! Products that we're using today. Would love for you to shop with me, and I'll be glad to be your demonstrator if you don't have one already. And if you don't have the new holiday mini catalog, that's September through December, the catalog, I would be glad to get you one if you don't have a demo. So just let me know if I can help you. All right, we are going to make another card from my series of 16 that we did at a retreat a week ago. And I would love to know your opinion and love to know if you like making shaker cards. The one I just did the video on was a faux shaker that we use a clear envelope with. And this one is an actual shaker that was the original type that uses window sheets to do the shaker card. So they're just done a little bit different way. But would love to know when you're watching, whether it's live on Facebook or live on YouTube, or if you're watching the replay on either one. Just would love to know who you are and where you're from. Just let me know that in the comments. That would be great. And we're going to get started because I had several people do this class as a class to go, and they're waiting for the videos. So we're going to get this going so they can work on their cards at home at their leisure. And I also will have a PDF tutorial available of all the 16 cards. Let me show you those real quickly while we're checking to see if anybody else is jumping on now or if everybody's just going to watch on the replay. So these are the fun 16 cards that we made at the retreat last weekend, and would love to have you come to some of my crafty card making experiences that I have coming up. On the 13th, I have an intermediate class. On the 16th, I believe, I think I'm right, 16th, I have beginner classes at 2 and 6, and then the techniques class for my more advanced stampers in the area, in the Lubbock area, will be on the 19th. So I look forward to hopefully seeing you at one of those, or if you're interested in a class to go, let me know, or the tutorial for this. So we will get going here. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I'll remember to switch this camera over this time. I can't believe I've forgotten that a couple of times or several times. All right, the first thing we do, we're using the brushed gold cards and envelopes, and they are full-size cards with envelopes, but and the front and back is beautiful, and I just couldn't bear to use this just for the back of a card with all that beautiful brushed gold. So I have split mine in half, and I just cut kind of on either side of the score line, and then cut over here to 4 by 5 1/4. And you can just pick an end to cut whichever way you want it. I usually cut that end off, I think, on that 5 1/4, but on this side it doesn't matter. So whatever works for you. And you'll have the beautiful envelopes to put half of these in, and the other half you'll just put in a regular envelope. And we're going to use shaded spruce cardstock, and this is a typical 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4, and the inside piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and then this is cut down to 4 by 5 1/4, and then I have a little scrap of white which makes the little banner for this, and then the gold foil is used. You probably just need a piece 3.5-ish by 4, whatever, something like that. Let's see. If you cut these out all at once, you could do kind of a square like that, probably about, 3 1/4-ish by 3, something like that, a piece like that. And you'd put adhesive sheet on the back and then cut that out. Then we also have a piece of window sheet, which is 3 by 4. And that's what we'll be using today for this card. First things first, we have to get our Christmas tree cut out of the brushed gold paper. And I didn't want to do that in advance, just in case you have this kit and want to see really exactly how I did it. And all you do is figure out, you want to leave room for your little gold basket and your star on top. And I kind of left as much of the gold as I could. This can be in the center or it can be over toward the right, whatever you want it to be. But I'm going to do mine right about there. You just decide that on your own where you want it. Just leave room for your star and your little basket below. And you'll use the plate number, I think it's 2, whatever it is for die cut embossing, number 2, and then 2 of the clear plates that are number 3. And there we have that. Get this out of the way. Easy peasy. Now I wanted to show you how to position this. Let's put this back in its little container so I don't lose it. And we're going to take our shaded spruce piece. Oh my goodness, this is an older one. That was shoved in my little scrap packet. So we'll go ahead and use it. We're going to cover that up anyway, so it'll be fine. All right, what we want to do is kind of figure out where we want this positioned, where you have a border all the way around. And then we're going to put this inside there and then move this off to the side. And I'm just going to use my regular liquid glue here, which I probably should have checked out ahead of time to make sure that was still flowing properly, which it is. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Whoops, we need to get that glue off. We don't want any excess glue. Now we'll do the bottom. I'm trying to do this where you can see it, hopefully. And we're just going to glue the bottom, holding down the top. That way we keep the position where we wanted it. Okay, so that's positioned. Your card should be blank. Mine should too, but it's just, it was pre-stamped evidently for something from last year or years past, and then I didn't use it for that. We're going to get that really burnished well. Okay, so that's glued on first. Now we're going to take our, let's go ahead and stamp our easy little stuff first. How about that? We're going to stamp the Love and Joy on that little white banner in Real Red, and I'm using Real Red and Shaded Spruce. So we've got the Love and Joy. This is from the Merriest Trees bundle. Hopefully that's not too much red there on the end. And I'm going over toward the right side. Whoop, that was a little high. It's hard to see on camera. It's right in the, kind of right in the way. So I did an extra one just in case. Hopefully I can find it. Okay, I'm going to move it a little closer to me. Now, better. Still not exactly straight, but I think that will suffice. Okay, get that cleaned off really quickly. And we'll go ahead and do our little star. We're going to do this on the inside, just a simple inside that still goes with our outside. And that's going to go on the little white piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to get the shaded spruce out. I'm just going to smooth that up. And we've got We Wish You a Merry Christmas in shaded spruce. We'll put that toward the bottom. Make sure I've got plenty of ink on there. I've been using that shaded spruce a lot. So yeah, it really needs a refill, but that works. That's fine. It's a little ombre look, but it will work. Then we're going to use a little red star because we're kind of sticking with the red-green color scheme. We're just going to stick that on top of our little tree. Isn't that cute? It just makes a Christmas tree right there just with words. Isn't that fun? Love that. You can use that on the outside of the card or the inside of the card, whichever way you want it to be. Okay, we're finished with those. We can get that on our inside. Go ahead and mount that and get it out of the way. And I think that's all the stamping we need to do. So we'll move our stamping mat out of the way, get our little glue mat, silicone mat out here so I don't get it everywhere. If I accidentally drop it or something, which has happened. Kind of get an even border all the way around there. And you might want to come back and do Wink of Stella after we do the front of the card. All right. Then we're going to, we'll snip that off later when we get ready to mount it. But first, we're going to take our little, set that aside. And we're going to use a scrap piece of paper, which this is a big one, but I'd rather have it on this paper than on my work surface, right? So we're going to take our shaded spruce and tap, tap, tap. And I usually use 2 fingers up here, however y'all use it on your blending brushes. Stampin' Up's blending brushes are just wonderful. They are great. And y'all be sure and comment if you have a question. I'll be happy to look up at the comments now and then and answer any questions you have. Get rid of that mess so you don't have to look at all that. Okay, always tap off on your scratch paper before you go onto the card. And I wanted to do the shaded spruce here because I wanted the tree to really show up on the inside, and it's white. Not only the tree, but also the embellishments that are going to be inside. We're going to use the loose holly, gems, and sequins. Hopefully this isn't shaking the camera too much. I'm trying to not do too much of that. Hang on to your paper, peeps. I want this to be quick for you, but I don't want to have it shaky. And you just really, it works better to layer it some. You can see I got in a hurry there and just kind of got a little bit too much on that spot, but that's going to be covered up by our basket, so I'm not too worried about it. So use some pressure on your brush. And I'm not going over here onto the gold much. You do get a little on the gold, and we'll wipe that off at the end. But you just layer this until you get it as dark as you want it. Just keep going back over if you think it's too light. But a little color variation is just fine. And I think that's going to be dark enough. Let's put it over on our card front and see. Ooh, we're going to have a little bit of that sprucey stuff showing from last time, but that's okay. All right, I think that's going to work. That's dark enough. We'll put up our shaded spruce and brush and scratch pad. And then we're going to just take a Kleenex or a paper towel or something and try to kind of burnish that a little bit, wipe it off. Probably paper towel would be better to have a little texture in there, kind of get some of that green off of the gold. In fact, I'm going to try, this is a wet wipe, You don't want to go onto the green with it because you don't want this taking that off, but it's nice to take it off of the gold because you don't want it smearing on whoever gets the card later, because it's kind of like an emboss resist. Okay. Alrighty. Now, we're ready for the next step, which is prepping our green. Let's go ahead and put up a little bit. I'm going to put this back up here for a moment, and we're going to attach our window sheet, this 3x4 window sheet. Try to keep that cleaned off. Okay, we're going to use glue dots for this. You could use Stampin' Seal if you want. This one doesn't have to be totally sealed like the other part that I'm going to show you with the foam adhesive sheets. We just want to make sure this is on there. I'm just getting glue dots in each corner, and then I'll come back and do some on the sides. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm just pulling them off of the roll onto here. I have some little stray pieces of something on there that I can see trying to get off. Okay, I think we're pretty good there. Now we got to get one more glue dot on the side over there. Okay. Then we're going to add that to the back, and this should just cover that tree. So you could use tear and tape all the way around. I just don't really feel like it's necessary. I think that's going to hold that easy peasy. So we're going to take some foam adhesive strips that I've already kind of cut down out of my pack. And if you want to carefully go all the way, you can. Like, so you won't miss out on seeing any of your sequins. But I really think you can get close enough doing this right here with the triangle. Just make sure you don't have any of the foam strips showing inside there. And we don't want to go off of that window. And you want to be sure and butt up any of the strips that you're connecting. Like this one, see how I butted that up right to that? That's what you want. You don't want, whoops, did I lose you? Get my comments back. There we go. My little mouse trackpad is right over here, close by. Okay, so you see there's butted up there so that the sequins can't escape. Okay, now I'm going to go butt that up on the inside there. And then we'll get one more piece. Well, that one might be the right size. How about that? I don't know. That's a little tight right there. We may have to, let's cut that just a little bit and put a little bit longer piece in there, because I don't think we can get one as small as that. Okay. We're just going to take this and stick that in there. Maybe a little bit smaller. There we go. We don't want any sequin escapees, right? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and take the backs off of that. And this is, you can do this different ways, but in this instance, because I already have a set position for my tree that's on my shaded spruce cardstock. Here we go. Thought I'd lost it. We already have a set position for that's on here. Whoops, so we need to get that off. Somehow I got green on that one on the inside. Huh. Well, that's disappointing. I don't know how I did that. I probably just got it off of this piece. Okay. So we've got that, and then you can either put dimensionals or keep using adhesive strips for the rest of this to raise the rest of your cardstock up, because you want all of this to be level with this part, if that makes sense. Got to do it all the way around the edge there, or I would recommend it right up to the edge. You don't want it showing. Went right off of that edge there. And this isn't critical that you cover 100% of it, but you want it to, you spend all this time making a card, you want it to be, you don't want it to be flat when they get it, right? I'm going to put that back and put a little bit longer piece. We'll use that for something else. Let's see, we've got about that long. Let's do that. As you can tell, this is not an exact science here. We're just trying to hold this up. That one, we've got to hold the sequins in. The rest of these are just to hold up the card. And you could probably use, you know, save a little bit there and not have to go the entire way, but that was what was easiest at the moment. So that's what we did. Okay. We got all the backs off. I can tell it's all shiny. Whoops, we got to do our sequins first. So you have this ready to where we're just going to lay it over the top right there. Once we get our sequins in. And we're going to put those right here. I'm going to dump these loose holly gems and sequins. Let's see. And you want them to go kind of in the middle there and not on the edges. The edges are going to be caught by this part. Okay. That. It's probably a few too many, but I think it'll be okay. Because some are going to stick to our edges over here. And you can, if you want to try the embossing buddy in here, it just leaves kind of a film sometimes, and it's just about as hard to get that off as anything else. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of that lint out of there. Now we're going to position this without moving our sequins anywhere, because this is going to attract those sequins. So you really want to make sure you get it the way you want it first. Now they're trapped in there. Now you have a shaker. How cute. Isn't that great? Okay. And that's all there is to that. Making a shaker. Now we're just going to decorate the outside and we'll be good to go. All right. I would recommend cutting your foil piece and putting adhesive sheet on the back and then doing this part. Put this out here. See if we can leave that where y'all can see that part. And put our little star together. It just needs a little bit of glue on each point is plenty. We're going to stick that down to our star, to our real red star. Then we're going to glue this down to the bottom of our tree right here. And I'm just kind of covering up. In fact, I'm going to snip that off. I don't want this showing above our basket, but I want the basket to show. So let's see what I did with our scissors earlier. Here we go. I'm just going to snip a little of that off so it doesn't stick up there above. Now we have a cute little basket or tree skirt, however you want to look at it. Then we're going to just glue our star down. You could use a glue dot if you wanted. I've got the liquid handy, so we're just going to do that. Stick that down right there. And then whenever these dies, let me show you this die. It looks like that. So it cuts all of the little layers of the little gold baubles out. So, and this one does have adhesive sheet on the back, which makes it easy peasy to peel off and peel and go. Let's see. Let me start. I'm not sure I have room for that on this one. On the larger tree, you have room for an extra row, but let's start at the bottom on this one. Whoops. I'm going to try to get it to peel. Nope, it's going to come the whole thing. So you just have to peel the front from the back. Peel the gold foil apart from the backing of the adhesive sheet. That did not work. Dang. Looks like I separated it the wrong way somehow. And I'm peeling my foil apart. Well, we don't want that. What do we want to do here, Kelly? I would say we're going to have to use a little glue there and glue that back together. It actually layered the foil paper. And you want to carefully do that because you don't want it smearing onto the foil itself. If you can help it. There we go. Okay, so we have that back together. Now we're going to glue this end back together. You should not have to do this. I've never seen this happen. So, of course, it's going to happen on a video. But we crafters are crafty folks, aren't we? We can we can figure out ways around problem areas. Okay, so now I'll do what you do if you forget to use the adhesive sheet or you don't have adhesive sheet. We're just going to put a teeny bit of glue on each little part of that string and take it from here to here. Okay. Then we're going to zig or zag the other way. Let's see if we can do this one properly. No, we're just going to glue that one. We are just not going to worry about it. And maybe I just thought I had adhesive sheet on there and I didn't. Not quite sure. Okay, and I'm just going to trim that off so that one ends up even and stacked on that other one. Can you see that? Then we'll take this one. Dot, dot, dot. Easy peasy. It's easier if you do the adhesive sheet right, but this does work, as you can see. Same thing there. I'm going to cut that off. I probably could have just started with the not quite the end. Skipped it and moved on, but that's okay. This works just great. Just putting glue on each little dot And I think I'm only going to need 4, but we'll cut that off if we need to. Which I'm pretty sure we're going to need to. Okay, we're going to lose both of those. Trim that a little better. A little better still. All right, now we have our little gold baubles on. How cute is that? Little shaker. Who wouldn't love getting that? And they will just play for it, play with it, play with it, play with it, I bet you. What do you think? Okay, now all we have to do is do our little Love and Joy. And we'll try to cut this straight. I'm going to use, I happen to have this little trimmer. If y'all, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell these. This was a promotional thing they did a while back that I love, and I keep it, and a lot of demonstrators do too. I've seen it. But it sure is handy to make sure you get that straight. You could do it with your paper snips if you wanted, or do it on your other Stampin' trimmer. And you can either raise this up with dimensionals, or you can do it flat. I'm choosing to do it flat since we already have this full layer below. So we won't be double stacking. Okay. And I like that just even with this green and gold part here. Instead of coming over where it's hanging over the edge, we're just going to line it up right there. Love and Joy, come to you. I won't sing for you. You don't want to hear that, believe me. Okay, so we have the Love and Joy, and then we wish you a Merry Christmas on the inside. Isn't that a sweet little card? Fun and easy for a shaker. I bet you thought shaker cards were a lot harder than that. Does anybody have any comments or questions before I take off and maybe work on another video for one of my other cards of the 16? So thanks again. Like I said, I appreciate you joining and staying tuned and also sharing with your friends. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend or week, whichever way you're watching it. Have a great one. Talk to you soon. Fun times ahead.